Welcome to Science Snippets Fun Facts and Trivia. Today, we bring you, Is Earth Actually Alive? A new perspective from the Gaia Theory. Chapter 1, The Big Question? Is Earth Alive? Section 1, Introducing the concept of a living Earth. Have you ever considered the possibility that Earth might be alive? Not in the sense of having a heartbeat or a mind, but as a complex, self-regulating system that sustains life. This idea forms the core of the Gaia Theory, proposed in the 1970s by British scientist James Lovelock. He suggested that the Earth's atmosphere, oceans, and ecosystems work together like a single organism to create the conditions necessary for life. It's a radical concept, one that challenges the way we traditionally view our planet. The Gaia Theory proposes that life and the environment aren't separate. Instead, they form a feedback loop where living organisms influence Earth's systems, which in turn support life. For example, Earth's atmosphere has maintained a stable mix of gases, perfect for life, over billions of years. This balance isn't random but a result of countless interactions between microorganisms, plants, and other life forms. In essence, life doesn't just survive on Earth, it helps sustain the planet itself. Think of it like the human body. Just as our organs work together to maintain balance, Earth's systems, like the climate and oceans, operate in harmony to stabilize conditions. If the planet becomes too warm, natural processes like cloud formation may act to cool it down. This self-regulating behavior makes Earth seem alive in a way that defies traditional definitions of life. Of course, not everyone agrees. Critics argue that the Gaia Theory is more metaphor than science. They point out that Earth lacks traits like consciousness or reproduction, which are hallmarks of living organisms. But supporters counter that life doesn't need to fit neatly into a single definition. What matters is the interconnectedness of Earth's systems, and how they sustain life as a whole. Whether or not Earth is truly alive, the Gaia Theory offers a new perspective. It encourages us to see the planet not as a backdrop for life, but as a partner in sustaining it. As we'll explore in the following chapters, this idea has profound implications for science, philosophy, and our role in protecting the environment. Section 2. How the Gaia Theory redefines life. What does it mean to be alive? Traditionally, life is defined by specific characteristics: growth, reproduction, response to stimuli, and the ability to maintain homeostasis. These criteria help us distinguish living organisms from non-living matter. However, the Gaia Theory invites us to rethink these boundaries. It suggests that Earth itself, while not alive in the traditional sense, functions as a system that mimics many traits of life. Let's break it down. James Lovelock's Gaia Theory views the planet as a self-regulating entity, where living organisms and environmental systems interact in ways that stabilize conditions for life. For example, Earth's temperature and atmospheric composition remain remarkably steady over geological timescales, even in the face of disruptions. This stability, which scientists call homeostasis, is a hallmark of living systems. In this sense, Earth behaves like a giant organism, adapting to changes and maintaining balance. One of the most striking examples is Earth's atmosphere. Unlike the atmospheres of Venus or Mars, Earth's air contains a unique mix of gases, such as oxygen and nitrogen, perfectly suited for life. This balance didn't happen by chance. Microorganisms like cyanobacteria played a critical role in producing oxygen billions of years ago, shaping the atmosphere into what it is today. This interplay between life and environment demonstrates how organisms actively shape their surroundings, rather than merely adapting to them. The Gaia Theory also challenges the idea that life is confined to individual organisms. Instead, it proposes a more holistic view, where life extends to the systems and processes that sustain it. Under this framework, Earth's ecosystems, oceans, and even geological processes are part of a larger, interconnected web of life. It's a radical shift from the traditional view of life as isolated and self-contained. Critics argue that the Gaia theory stretches the definition of life too far. After all, Earth doesn't grow, reproduce, or possess consciousness. But supporters point out that life, as a concept, is not rigid. In fact, scientists have continually redefined what it means to be alive, especially as they explore extreme environments on Earth and search for life on other planets. Ultimately, the Gaia theory redefines life by focusing on relationships and systems, rather than individual organisms. It encourages us to see the planet as a living system, where life and environment are deeply intertwined. This perspective not only expands our understanding of biology, but also highlights the importance of protecting the delicate balance that sustains life on Earth. Section 3. Why this idea is worth exploring. Why should we take the Gaia theory seriously? At first glance, the idea of Earth behaving like a living system might sound more like science fiction than science. However, this concept offers profound insights into how our planet works and how humanity fits into the larger picture of life on Earth. By exploring the Gaia theory, we can gain a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of life and the environment, as well as the urgent need to protect our fragile planet. One reason this idea is worth exploring is its potential to unify diverse scientific fields. The Gaia theory bridges disciplines such as biology, geology, climatology, and even philosophy, offering a holistic view of Earth as an integrated system. For example, climate scientists can study how life forms, like phytoplankton, influence global temperatures by producing compounds that affect cloud formation. Similarly, geologists can examine how the planet's physical processes, such as volcanic activity, contribute to maintaining the chemical balance of the atmosphere. This interconnected approach helps scientists see the bigger picture, rather than focusing on isolated phenomena. The Gaia theory also challenges humanity to rethink its relationship with the environment. If Earth functions as a self-regulating system, then our actions, such as deforestation, pollution, and overexploitation of resources, are not merely environmental issues. They are disruptions to a finely tuned system that has sustained life for billions of years. By adopting the perspective of the Gaia theory, we are reminded that harming the planet is ultimately harming ourselves. Another reason this idea is valuable is its relevance to modern challenges, particularly climate change. Earth's natural systems, such as forests and oceans, have historically acted as buffers, absorbing carbon dioxide and stabilizing temperatures. However, human activity has pushed these systems to their limits, threatening the balance that has made life possible. The Gaia theory underscores the importance of preserving these systems, not just for the environment, but for the survival of life as a whole. Finally, the Gaia theory inspires a sense of wonder and curiosity about our planet. It encourages us to see Earth not as a passive backdrop for human activity, but as a dynamic, interconnected system that we are an active part of. This shift in perspective has the power to inspire not only scientists, but also individuals and communities to take action in preserving the planet. By exploring the Gaia theory, we gain a tool for understanding the complexities of our world and the role we play within it. Whether viewed as a scientific framework or a thought-provoking metaphor, This idea invites us to approach the Earth with greater respect and responsibility. And in a time of ecological crisis, this perspective may be more important than ever. Chapter 2: The Origins of the Gaia Theory. Section 1: James Lovelock and the Birth of the Gaia Hypothesis. The Gaia Hypothesis, now widely recognized as a groundbreaking perspective on Earth's systems, began as the bold idea of one man, James Lovelock. In the 1960s, Lovelock was working as a scientist for NASA, tasked with designing experiments to detect life on Mars. This seemingly unrelated mission planted the seed for what would become the Gaia Hypothesis, a revolutionary way of understanding life on Earth. Lovelock's initial insight came while studying planetary atmospheres. He noticed something remarkable about Earth compared to its neighbors, Venus and Mars. While their atmospheres were dominated by simple gases in stable equilibrium, Earth's atmosphere was highly dynamic and chemically active, filled with oxygen, nitrogen, and traces of methane. To Lovelock, this unusual composition wasn't just a coincidence. It suggested that Earth's atmosphere was being actively maintained by life itself. Working with microbiologist Lynn Margulis, Lovelock refined this idea into what he called the Gaia Hypothesis, named after the Greek goddess of the earth, Gaia. The theory proposed that living organisms interact with the planet's physical systems to create a self-regulating environment. For instance, plants and microorganisms play a crucial role in controlling levels of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. These interactions, Lovelock argued, were not accidental, but essential for maintaining conditions suitable for life. At the time, this idea was revolutionary and controversial. Many scientists dismissed it as too speculative, arguing that Earth's systems could be explained without invoking the concept of a living planet. Some even accused Lovelock of veering into pseudoscience. However, Lovelock remained undeterred. He continued to develop the Gaia Hypothesis, gathering evidence from diverse fields like climatology, biology, and geology. One of Lovelock's key contributions was the idea of feedback loops in Earth's systems. He showed how life and the environment interact in ways that promote stability. For example, when temperatures rise, certain biological processes can produce clouds that reflect sunlight and cool the planet. These feedback mechanisms demonstrated that life isn't just shaped by the environment, it actively shapes it in return. Over time, the Gaia Hypothesis gained traction, evolving from a fringe idea to a respected scientific framework. Lovelock's collaboration with Margulis was particularly influential, as her work on microorganisms provided critical evidence for the role of life in regulating Earth's systems. Together, they transformed the Gaia Hypothesis into a robust theory that continues to inspire researchers today. Lovelock's work reminds us of the power of imagination in science. By looking at Earth through the lens of life, he challenged traditional boundaries between disciplines and opened the door to a new way of thinking about our planet. His vision of a living Earth, though still debated, has left a lasting legacy in both science and environmental philosophy. Section 2: Early reactions to the Gaia Theory. When James Lovelock first introduced the Gaia Theory in the 1970s, it sparked a mix of curiosity, skepticism, and controversy within the scientific community. The idea that Earth functions as a self-regulating system, shaped by life, was bold and unconventional. While some found it inspiring, others dismissed it as too speculative, bordering on pseudoscience. One of the main criticisms came from evolutionary biologists. They argued that natural selection operates at the level of individual organisms, not entire ecosystems or planets. To them, the idea That life collectively maintains Earth's environment seemed implausible. How could countless organisms, each striving for survival, contribute to global stability without a guiding force? Critics also pointed out that the Gaia theory lacked testable predictions, a key requirement for scientific theories. Philosophers and environmentalists, however, were more open to the idea. They saw Gaia as a unifying concept that bridged science and the human relationship with nature. Environmental movements embraced the theory as a way to highlight humanity's dependence on Earth's systems. For many, the Gaia theory was not just a scientific hypothesis, but a call to action, urging people to protect the planet as a living system. Despite the skepticism, Lovelock and his collaborator Lynn Margulis continued to develop the theory, gradually winning over some scientists. They refined their arguments, emphasizing feedback mechanisms as evidence for Earth's self-regulation. For example, Lovelock pointed to the way phytoplankton in the oceans release compounds that help form clouds, cooling the planet. These interactions, he argued, demonstrated how life and the environment work together to maintain balance. Over time, the Gaia theory began to gain credibility. While it remained controversial, it inspired research in fields like climate science and ecology. By challenging traditional ideas and sparking debate, Gaia pushed scientists to think more holistically about Earth and its systems. Section 3: How it evolved into a scientific debate. As the Gaia theory gained attention, it began to evolve from a speculative hypothesis into a subject of serious scientific debate. Initially, many scientists viewed James Lovelock's idea of a living Earth as too metaphorical to be taken seriously. However, as evidence for interconnected systems and feedback loops accumulated, the theory started to influence fields like ecology, climatology, and planetary science. One major turning point came when Lovelock and Lynn Margulis reframed Gaia as a model for understanding Earth's self-regulation. They moved away from describing Earth as a literal organism, and instead emphasized the interactions between life and the planet's physical systems. For example, they highlighted how ecosystems, like forests and oceans, play vital roles in regulating the atmosphere by cycling carbon dioxide and oxygen. This shift made the Gaia theory more scientifically grounded and less reliant on metaphor. In the 1980s, advances in climate science provided further support. Researchers began to recognize how natural processes, such as cloud formation or ocean currents, act as stabilizing forces for the planet's climate. These discoveries aligned with Gaia's core idea that life and the environment form a feedback system that maintains conditions suitable for life. For instance, Lovelock's Daisy World model, a computer simulation showing how simple organisms could regulate a planet's temperature, offered a theoretical framework for Gaia's principles. Even so, critics remained. Many argued that the theory lacked a mechanism to explain how life and Earth's systems evolved to work together. Evolutionary biologists, in particular, questioned whether Gaia was consistent with Darwinian natural selection, which operates at the level of individuals and species, not entire ecosystems. In response, Lovelock clarified that Gaia doesn't imply purposeful design, but rather emergent properties arising from countless interactions over time. Despite its challenges, the Gaia theory inspired a wave of interdisciplinary research. It encouraged scientists to view Earth as a complex, interconnected system, where changes in one area could ripple across the globe. This systems thinking approach influenced everything from environmental policy to space exploration. As researchers began applying Gaia-like principles to study other planets, by evolving into a scientific framework. The Gaia Theory transformed from a provocative idea into a catalyst for rethinking Earth's processes. While it still sparks debate, its impact on science and our understanding of the planet is undeniable. Chapter 3: Earth's Self-Regulating Systems. Section 1: The planet's climate as a living system. One of the most compelling aspects of the Gaia Theory is its view of Earth's climate as a self-regulating system. According to James Lovelock, the planet's atmosphere, oceans, and ecosystems work together to maintain stable conditions, much like the systems in a living organism. This concept offers a fresh perspective on how Earth's climate functions and highlights the delicate balance that has allowed life to thrive for billions of years. Take, for example, the planet's temperature. Earth has maintained a relatively narrow range of temperatures over geological time, despite fluctuations in solar radiation. How? Natural processes act as feedback mechanisms, either amplifying or stabilizing changes in temperature. One such process involves the oceans, which absorb vast amounts of carbon dioxide. When carbon dioxide levels rise, the oceans help regulate the planet's climate by storing the excess gas. This prevents a runaway greenhouse effect, similar to what we see on Venus. Cloud formation is another example. Marine organisms, such as phytoplankton, release compounds into the atmosphere that encourage cloud formation. These clouds reflect sunlight, cooling the planet in the process. This natural feedback loop demonstrates how life and the climate are interconnected, working together to maintain balance. Even Earth's ice caps play a role. The white surface of ice reflects sunlight, helping to regulate the planet's temperature. As ice melts due to global warming, less sunlight is reflected, causing more heat to be absorbed by the planet. This creates a feedback loop that accelerates warming, highlighting the fragile nature of Earth's regulatory systems. The Gaia Theory's perspective on climate is particularly relevant today. Human activity, such as burning fossil fuels and deforestation, is disrupting these natural feedback loops. The rise in greenhouse gases has overwhelmed Earth's ability to self-regulate, leading to more extreme weather patterns, melting ice caps, and rising sea levels. Lovelock himself warned that humanity's actions are pushing the planet beyond its capacity to maintain stability. Understanding Earth's climate as a living system emphasizes the importance of preserving its natural processes. By disrupting these systems, we risk not only harming the environment, but also destabilizing the conditions that make life possible. The Gaia Theory reminds us that the planet's climate isn't just a passive background. It's an active participant in the story of life on Earth. Section 2: Ocean currents, forests, and feedback loops. Earth's natural systems, such as ocean currents and forests, play vital roles in maintaining the planet's balance. These systems are not isolated. They work together through feedback loops that regulate temperature, atmosphere, and the availability of resources. The Gaia Theory highlights how these interconnected processes resemble the self-regulating mechanisms of a living organism. Let's start with ocean currents. One of the most important systems is the thermohaline circulation, often called the global conveyor belt. This massive system of currents moves heat and nutrients around the globe, connecting the equator with the poles. Warm water from the tropics travels northward, releasing heat into the atmosphere and moderating temperatures in regions like Europe. As the water cools, it sinks and flows back toward the equator, creating a continuous loop. This process is crucial for regulating Earth's climate. However, disruptions, such as the melting of polar ice, can weaken this circulation, leading to drastic changes in weather patterns, and even triggering regional cooling or warming. Forests, often referred to as the lungs of the planet, are another key player in Earth's self-regulation. Through photosynthesis, trees absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and release oxygen, helping to maintain the delicate balance of gases that support life. Tropical rainforests, like the Amazon, are particularly significant. They store vast amounts of carbon, acting as a buffer against rising greenhouse gas levels. However, deforestation not only reduces this capacity, but also releases stored carbon, amplifying the effects of climate change. This feedback loop, where deforestation leads to warming, which further stresses ecosystems, is a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of life and environment. These systems don't just function independently, they interact in complex ways. For example, the Amazon rainforest influences weather patterns. Far beyond South America, the water vapor released by its trees contributes to rainfall in distant regions, connecting ecosystems across the planet. Similarly, ocean currents influence wind patterns, which in turn affect forests and other terrestrial systems. These connections demonstrate how changes in one area can ripple across the globe. The Gaia theory emphasizes that these feedback loops are not random. They have evolved over billions of years to maintain conditions suitable for life, but they are not invincible. Human activities, such as burning fossil fuels and large-scale deforestation, are overwhelming these systems, pushing them toward tipping points. Once these tipping points are reached, feedback loops can spiral out of control, leading to rapid and potentially irreversible changes. By understanding ocean currents, forests, and their feedback loops, we gain insight into the fragility of Earth's self-regulating systems. The Gaia theory challenges us to view these processes not as separate phenomena but as parts of a larger, interconnected whole. Protecting these systems isn't just about preserving nature. It's about safeguarding the mechanisms that sustain life itself. Section 3: How these systems maintain stability. Earth's ability to sustain life depends on its remarkable capacity for stability. The planet's systems, ranging from the atmosphere and oceans to forests and microbial communities, work together to create conditions that are ideal for living organisms. This stability is not accidental, but is achieved through intricate feedback mechanisms that maintain balance. The Gaia theory suggests that these self-regulating processes are what make Earth function as a unified, life-supporting system. One of the most well-known examples of stability is the carbon cycle. Plants absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere during photosynthesis, storing it in their biomass. When these plants die and decompose, or when animals consume them, the carbon is returned to the atmosphere or soil. This cycle keeps atmospheric carbon dioxide levels relatively stable, which is crucial for maintaining a livable climate. However, human activities, such as burning fossil fuels and deforestation, have disrupted this balance, causing an excess of carbon dioxide that contributes to global warming. Another key example is the water cycle, which regulates the distribution of fresh water across the planet. Oceans, rivers, forests, and even the atmosphere play interconnected roles in this process. For instance, rainforests like the Amazon not only absorb water but also release it back into the atmosphere, influencing rainfall patterns across vast regions. This cycle ensures that water is continually recycled, supporting both ecosystems and human populations. Disruptions, such as widespread deforestation, can lead to droughts, reduced freshwater availability, and destabilized weather systems. Oceans also play a critical role in maintaining stability. By regulating temperature, they act as massive heat sinks, absorbing and redistributing solar energy through currents like the Gulf Stream. These currents transport warm water from the tropics to cooler regions, moderating global temperatures. At the same time, oceans absorb significant amounts of carbon dioxide, reducing its concentration in the atmosphere. However, as human activities increase carbon emissions, the oceans are becoming oversaturated, leading to acidification and threatening marine ecosystems. Microorganisms, though often overlooked, are vital to stability as well. They process nutrients, decompose organic matter, and even contribute to cloud formation by releasing aerosols into the atmosphere. These tiny organisms form the foundation of ecosystems, enabling larger life forms to thrive. Without them, many of Earth's natural cycles would collapse. What ties all these systems together is their ability to self-regulate through feedback loops. For example, when temperatures rise, processes like cloud formation or carbon absorption by forests and oceans act to cool the planet. This natural resilience has allowed Earth to survive dramatic changes, such as asteroid impacts and ice ages, over billions of years. However, these systems are not invincible. The Gaia Theory warns that human activities are pushing Earth's regulatory mechanisms to their limits, potentially leading to tipping points where stability can no longer be maintained. Understanding how these systems work together to maintain stability emphasizes the importance of protecting them. The Gaia Theory reminds us that life and environment are deeply interconnected. By preserving these natural systems, we are not just safeguarding biodiversity. We are ensuring the continued stability of the planet that sustains us. Chapter 4: The Microbial World and Earth's Stability. Section 1: The Vital Role of Microorganisms. Microorganisms, though invisible to the naked eye, are among the most crucial components of Earth's self-regulating systems. From bacteria and fungi to algae and archaea, these tiny organisms play an outsized role in maintaining the balance of our planet. The Gaia Theory highlights their importance as key drivers of the processes that sustain life and stabilize Earth's environment. One of their most significant contributions is nutrient cycling. Microbes break down organic matter, releasing nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus back into the soil and water. These nutrients are essential for plant growth, forming the base of food chains that support ecosystems worldwide. Without microorganisms, this cycle would grind to a halt, leaving ecosystems starved of vital resources. Microorganisms are also major players in regulating Earth's atmosphere. Cyanobacteria, for instance, were responsible for producing the first oxygen billions of years ago, transforming Earth's early atmosphere and enabling the evolution of complex life. Even today, microbes in oceans and soils continue to influence atmospheric composition. For example, marine phytoplankton absorb massive amounts of carbon dioxide during photosynthesis, acting as a natural carbon sink. This helps regulate greenhouse gas levels and stabilize the climate. In addition, microorganisms contribute to climate regulation through their role in cloud formation. Certain bacteria and phytoplankton release compounds into the atmosphere that act as nuclei for water vapor, helping clouds to form. These clouds reflect sunlight, cooling the planet, and providing a vital feedback mechanism that moderates temperatures. However, the balance maintained by microorganisms is delicate. Human activities, such as deforestation, pollution, and the overuse of antibiotics, are disrupting microbial ecosystems. For example, agricultural runoff introduces excess nutrients into water bodies, leading to harmful algal blooms that deplete oxygen and disrupt aquatic life. Similarly, Soil degradation caused by industrial farming reduces microbial diversity, threatening the health of ecosystems and their ability to support life. The Gaia theory emphasizes that microorganisms are not just passive components of ecosystems. They are active participants in Earth's self-regulation. By understanding and protecting these microscopic allies, we can better preserve the natural systems that sustain life on our planet. Section 2. Microbes' impact on atmosphere and ecosystems. Microorganisms have a profound impact on Earth's atmosphere and ecosystems, making them indispensable to the planet's balance. These tiny, unseen organisms perform functions that regulate the environment, support biodiversity, and influence global climate. The Gaia theory underscores their importance as key players in maintaining Earth's self-regulating systems. One of the most significant ways microbes influence the atmosphere is through their role in carbon cycling. Marine phytoplankton, for example, absorb vast amounts of carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. This process not only provides oxygen, but also helps regulate greenhouse gas levels. When these organisms die, their remains sink to the ocean floor, sequestering carbon for millions of years. This natural process acts as a buffer against climate change by reducing the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. On land, soil microbes contribute to the nitrogen cycle. Another critical process, nitrogen-fixing bacteria convert nitrogen from the air into forms that plants can absorb, such as ammonia. Without this microbial activity, plants would struggle to grow, disrupting food chains and ecosystems. Additionally, microbes decompose organic matter, recycling nutrients that support plant and animal life. This decomposition process maintains the health of ecosystems by ensuring that resources are continually replenished. Microorganisms also play a role in moderating Earth's temperature. Certain marine microbes release sulfur compounds into the atmosphere that help form clouds. These clouds reflect sunlight, cooling the planet, and providing a vital feedback mechanism for regulating climate. This connection between microbes and cloud formation highlights their indirect, but essential role in controlling Earth's temperature. However, human activities are threatening these delicate microbial systems. Agricultural runoff, for instance, introduces excessive nutrients into water bodies, causing algal blooms. These blooms can deplete oxygen in the water, creating dead zones where aquatic life cannot survive. Similarly, the destruction of soil through deforestation and industrial farming reduces microbial diversity, weakening ecosystems and their ability to recover from disturbances. The Gaia theory reminds us that microbes are not isolated entities. They are integral to the planet's larger systems. By impacting the atmosphere and ecosystems, they help maintain the balance that supports life. Protecting microbial communities is not just about preserving biodiversity. It's about safeguarding the processes that keep Earth livable for all organisms. Section 3. How they support the Gaia theory. Microorganisms play a central role in supporting the Gaia theory by demonstrating how life and Earth's systems work together to create a self-regulating planet. These tiny but powerful organisms influence the atmosphere, climate, and ecosystems in ways that align perfectly with James Lovelock's vision of Earth as a living, interconnected system. One of the most striking examples is the role of marine microorganisms in regulating Earth's temperature. Phytoplankton in the oceans absorb carbon dioxide during photosynthesis, which helps reduce greenhouse gas levels in the atmosphere. Additionally, some phytoplankton release sulfur compounds that contribute to cloud formation. These clouds reflect sunlight, cooling the planet, and acting as a stabilizing feedback loop. This interaction between microorganisms, the atmosphere, and climate showcases the delicate balance that the Gaia theory describes. Microbes also highlight the interconnectedness of Earth's systems through their involvement in nutrient cycling. For example, nitrogen-fixing bacteria convert nitrogen gas from the atmosphere into forms that plants can use, supporting ecosystems across the planet. Without these microorganisms, the nitrogen cycle would collapse, disrupting the food chains that depend on it. This process exemplifies how life actively shapes the environment to sustain itself, a core principle of the Gaia theory. Soil microorganisms further support the Gaia theory by maintaining soil health and fertility. They decompose organic matter, recycling nutrients back into the soil, which is essential for plant growth. Healthy soils, in turn, influence carbon storage and water retention, creating a cascade of effects that stabilize ecosystems. When seen through the lens of Gaia, these processes are not isolated, but part of a larger system that keeps Earth in balance. Lovelock's concept of feedback loops is also evident in microbial activity. For instance, as global temperatures rise, microbial processes in the soil can release more carbon dioxide, amplifying climate change. This positive feedback loop serves as a warning about how disruptions to microbial systems can destabilize the planet. At the same time, understanding these loops provides insight into how Earth has maintained stability over billions of years, reinforcing the idea that life and environment are deeply interconnected. The Gaia theory emphasizes that microorganisms are not just passive participants in Earth's systems. They are active agents that help regulate the planet. By studying microbes and their interactions, scientists gain a deeper appreciation for how life sustains the environment and vice versa. These tiny organisms are a testament to the Gaia theory's central claim that Earth functions as a self-regulating system, shaped by the interplay of living and non-living components. Chapter 5. The Gaia Theory Under the Microscope. Section 1. Criticism from Mainstream Science. From its inception, the Gaia theory has faced significant criticism from mainstream science. While the idea of Earth functioning as a self-regulating system has inspired many, it has also raised doubts among researchers who question its scientific validity. Critics argue that the theory, as originally proposed by James Lovelock, lacks the rigorous framework and testability required for it to be considered a fully scientific theory. One of the primary points of contention is the issue of natural selection. Evolutionary biologists have criticized the Gaia theory for seemingly contradicting Darwinian principles. In traditional evolutionary theory, natural selection operates at the level of individual organisms, or, in some cases, species. The Gaia theory, however, suggests that life collectively interacts with the environment to maintain stability on a planetary scale. Critics argue that such large-scale cooperation is unlikely to arise through natural selection alone, as it provides no direct benefit to individual organisms. Another criticism is the lack of clear mechanisms. Opponents of the Gaia theory contend that it fails to explain how life and Earth's systems could have co-evolved to function as a self-regulating entity. Without specific, testable mechanisms, they argue, the theory risks being seen as more of a metaphor than a scientific explanation. For instance, while feedback loops like cloud formation or carbon cycling align with the Gaia theory, skeptics point out that these processes can also be explained through traditional, ecological and geological models. The anthropomorphic language used in the Gaia theory has also drawn criticism. Terms like self-regulating or living planet can give the impression that Earth is a conscious entity, which many scientists view as misleading. Critics argue that such language strays into the realm of philosophy or spirituality, detracting from the scientific credibility of the theory. Despite these criticisms, supporters of the Gaia theory have worked to address these concerns. James Lovelock himself clarified that the theory does not imply purpose or intentionality, but rather emergent properties arising from countless interactions over time. Furthermore, models like Lovelock's DaisyWorld simulation have provided a way to test some of the theory's concepts in simplified forms, showing how feedback mechanisms can emerge naturally. The ongoing debate highlights the challenges of bridging multiple scientific disciplines. The Gaia theory's holistic perspective challenges traditional approaches that focus on isolated systems. While this interdisciplinary nature is one of its strengths, it also makes it harder to fit within conventional scientific frameworks. Criticism from mainstream science has not diminished the influence of the Gaia theory. Instead, it has spurred further research and debate, leading to refinements and a deeper understanding of Earth's systems. By provoking these discussions, the Gaia theory has continued to shape how we think about the planet, even among its skeptics. Section 2. Counterarguments by Gaia supporters. While the Gaia theory has faced substantial criticism, its supporters have put forth compelling counterarguments to address these concerns. By reframing the theory and providing evidence from diverse scientific fields, they have helped solidify Gaia as a serious framework for understanding Earth's systems. One of the main criticisms is that the Gaia theory seems to contradict natural selection. Critics argue that life cannot cooperate on a planetary scale without direct evolutionary benefit to individual organisms. In response, Gaia supporters emphasize that the theory does not suggest intentional cooperation. Instead, they argue that self-regulation is an emergent property of countless interactions between life forms and their environment. For example, forests do not consciously regulate carbon dioxide levels, but their processes naturally contribute to stabilizing the atmosphere. This emergent perspective aligns with modern systems thinking, which shows how complex patterns can arise from simple, decentralized interactions. Supporters also address the lack of testable mechanisms, a frequent criticism. They point to advances in climate science and ecology that provide tangible evidence of Gaia-like processes. For instance, the role of phytoplankton in cloud formation demonstrates how life impacts the atmosphere in measurable ways. Similarly, research on soil microbes has shown how they regulate carbon storage and nutrient cycling, directly influencing climate and ecosystem stability. These findings support the idea that life and Earth's systems are interconnected in ways that align with the Gaia theory. Another common critique is the use of anthropomorphic language, which some argue misrepresents the theory as implying Earth is a conscious entity. In response, supporters clarify that terms like self-regulating are descriptive rather than literal. They stress that Gaia is not a living organism, but a system with life-like properties. This distinction helps bridge the gap between metaphor and science, making the theory more accessible without sacrificing its scientific foundation. Finally, Gaia supporters highlight the theory's interdisciplinary nature as a strength rather than a weakness. By integrating biology, geology, climatology, and other fields, Gaia provides a holistic perspective that traditional approaches often overlook. This big-picture view is particularly valuable in addressing global challenges like climate change, where interconnected systems must be understood as a whole. Through these counterarguments, Gaia supporters have refined the theory. and expanded its scientific credibility. While debates continue, the Gaia theory's emphasis on interconnectedness remains a powerful tool for understanding our planet. Section 3. Is the theory metaphor or reality? One of the most enduring debates about the Gaia theory is whether it should be taken literally as a scientific framework or viewed as a metaphor. While James Lovelock originally presented Gaia as a hypothesis, its broad implications have led to interpretations that span both science and philosophy. This dual nature has fueled both its appeal and its controversies. For many scientists, Gaia serves as a useful metaphor to describe the interconnectedness of Earth's systems. It illustrates how life and the environment influence each other in ways that maintain planetary stability. For example, the concept of feedback loops, such as how forests absorb carbon dioxide and regulate the atmosphere, is widely accepted in ecology and climate science. However, critics argue that framing these processes as self-regulation risks overstating the role of life in shaping Earth's systems. Supporters counter that the theory offers more than just metaphorical value. They point to evidence of self-regulating mechanisms, such as the role of phytoplankton in cloud formation or the carbon cycle's impact on climate stability. These processes, they argue, demonstrate that life does actively shape the environment, lending credibility to Gaia as a scientific concept rather than mere symbolism. The line between metaphor and reality becomes especially blurred when discussing Gaia's philosophical implications. The idea of Earth as a living system resonates with many people, inspiring a deeper connection to the planet. While this interpretation may stray from strict science, it has motivated environmental movements and fostered a greater awareness of humanity's impact on the planet. Critics, however, caution that overly anthropomorphic interpretations risk diluting the theory's scientific credibility. Ultimately, whether Gaia is a metaphor or reality depends on perspective. As a metaphor, it offers a powerful way to conceptualize Earth's interconnected systems. As a scientific theory, it challenges traditional boundaries, providing a framework for understanding how life and the environment co-evolve. In either case, Gaia invites us to rethink our relationship with the planet and recognize the delicate balance that sustains life. Chapter 6. Implications for Humanity and the Environment. Section 1. What the Gaia Theory means for climate change. The Gaia Theory provides a unique perspective on one of the most pressing issues of our time: climate change. By framing Earth as a self-regulating system, it highlights the delicate balance between life and the environment, and underscores the potential consequences of disrupting this balance. Understanding the Gaia Theory can help us grasp the magnitude of the challenges we face and inspire more effective action. One of the key insights the Gaia Theory offers is the importance of natural feedback mechanisms in regulating the climate. For billions of years, processes like the carbon cycle, ocean currents, and cloud formation have worked together to stabilize Earth's temperature and atmospheric composition. For instance, forests act as carbon sinks, absorbing carbon dioxide and helping to cool the planet. Similarly, oceans store vast amounts of heat and carbon, buffering the effects of rising greenhouse gas levels. These natural processes exemplify Gaia's ability to maintain equilibrium. However, human activities are overwhelming these systems. The burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrial practices have disrupted Earth's feedback loops, pushing the planet beyond its capacity to self-regulate. Rising levels of carbon dioxide are leading to global warming, while the loss of forests and other ecosystems is reducing Earth's ability to absorb greenhouse gases. These disruptions create positive feedback loops, such as melting ice caps that accelerate warming by reducing the planet's reflectivity. The Gaia theory also emphasizes the interconnectedness of these systems. For example, deforestation in the Amazon affects not just local climates, but also global weather patterns, as the rainforest influences rainfall across continents. Similarly, ocean acidification caused by carbon emissions impacts marine ecosystems, which in turn affects global biodiversity and food security. By viewing these issues through the lens of Gaia, we can better understand how actions in one part of the world can ripple across the entire planet. Perhaps most importantly, the Gaia theory serves as a wake-up call. It reminds us that humanity is not separate from the planet, but an integral part of its systems. By disrupting Gaia's balance, we are not only harming the environment, but also threatening the stability that makes life possible. This perspective challenges us to rethink our approach to climate change, emphasizing the need for solutions that work with, rather than against, Earth's natural systems. In the face of a changing climate, the Gaia theory inspires a sense of urgency and responsibility. It encourages us to view the planet not as a resource to exploit, but as a living system that we must protect. By embracing this perspective, we can take meaningful steps to preserve the balance that sustains us all. Section 2. Rethinking humanity's role in the ecosystem. The Gaia theory challenges humanity to reconsider its place within Earth's intricate web of life. By presenting the planet as a self-regulating system, where life and environment are deeply interconnected, it shifts our perspective from dominion over nature to partnership with it. This change in mindset is not only philosophical, but also critical for addressing the ecological crises we face today. Traditionally, humans have viewed themselves as separate from nature, often treating the planet as a collection of resources to exploit. This anthropocentric perspective has driven industrialization, deforestation, and pollution, disrupting the delicate balance that sustains life. The Gaia theory, however, emphasizes that humans are not external to Earth's systems, but active participants within them. Every action we take, whether clearing forests, burning fossil fuels, or conserving ecosystems, has ripple effects across the planet. Understanding our role as part of Gaia highlights both the power and the responsibility we hold. For example, human activities have significantly altered the carbon cycle, contributing to climate change. But this same influence means we also have the ability to reverse some of the damage by restoring forests, adopting renewable energy, and protecting biodiversity. We can help re-establish the balance Gaia needs to function. The theory also underscores the importance of working with nature, rather than against it. Practices like regenerative agriculture and rewilding align with Gaia's principles. By enhancing ecosystems' natural ability to regulate themselves, these approaches not only benefit the environment, but also provide sustainable solutions for human needs, such as food and clean water. Moreover, rethinking humanity's role requires acknowledging the limits of our knowledge. Gaia operates through countless interconnected systems, many of which we do not yet fully understand. This complexity calls for humility in how we interact with the planet. Instead of imposing short-term solutions that may cause unintended consequences, we must focus on preserving and enhancing Earth's inherent, self-regulatory mechanisms. Ultimately, the Gaia theory inspires a shift from exploitation to stewardship. It reminds us that our well-being is inseparable from the health of the planet, and that a sustainable future depends on respecting the balance that Gaia has maintained for billions of years. By embracing this perspective, humanity can move toward a more harmonious relationship with the Earth, ensuring its stability for generations to come. Section 3. How the Gaia Theory could inspire action. The Gaia Theory doesn't just offer a new way of understanding Earth. It also inspires action. By framing the planet as a self-regulating system, it highlights the urgency of addressing the environmental crises we face, and encourages us to rethink how we interact with the natural world. This perspective provides a roadmap for creating a more sustainable future, rooted in harmony with Earth's systems. One of the most powerful messages of the Gaia Theory is the interconnectedness of life and the environment. This understanding emphasizes that no action occurs in isolation. For example, cutting down a rainforest doesn't just destroy local biodiversity. It also disrupts global weather patterns and carbon storage. Viewing the planet as a unified system encourages us to think beyond short-term gains and consider the broader, long-term impact of our actions. The Gaia Theory also inspires solutions that work with nature, rather than against it. Practices like reforestation, wetland restoration, and sustainable agriculture align with Gaia's principles by enhancing Earth's natural ability to self-regulate. For instance, planting trees not only absorbs carbon dioxide, but also restores ecosystems and improves water cycles. These actions leverage the planet's existing mechanisms to address challenges, like climate change and biodiversity loss. On a personal level, the Gaia Theory encourages individuals to take responsibility for their impact on the planet, from reducing waste and conserving energy to supporting conservation efforts. Small changes in behavior can collectively make a significant difference. The theory reminds us that every person is part of Gaia, and our choices influence the stability of the entire system. The philosophy behind Gaia also inspires a shift in values. It challenges us to move away from viewing nature as a resource to exploit and instead see it as a partner to protect. This change in mindset can drive policy changes, promote environmental education, and foster a culture of sustainability. Governments and organizations, too, can draw from Gaia's insights to design policies that prioritize ecosystem health, renewable energy, and global cooperation. Ultimately, the Gaia Theory is a call to action. It reminds us that Earth's systems have supported life for billions of years, but they are not invincible. By working to restore and protect the planet's balance, humanity has the opportunity to ensure a stable and thriving future, not just for ourselves but for all life on Earth. Chapter 7. The Future of the Gaia Theory. Section 1. New discoveries that could validate Gaia. In recent years, new scientific discoveries have provided further evidence that supports the principles of the Gaia Theory. These findings highlight the intricate connections between life and Earth's systems, reinforcing the idea that our planet functions as a self-regulating entity. While some of these discoveries have emerged from cutting-edge technology, others come from revisiting and expanding upon long-standing knowledge. One significant area of research involves the role of microorganisms in maintaining planetary stability. For example, scientists have recently uncovered how marine phytoplankton release compounds, like dimethyl sulfide DMS, into the atmosphere, which helps form clouds. These clouds reflect sunlight and regulate Earth's temperature, showcasing a natural feedback loop critical for climate stability. This discovery aligns directly with Gaia's concept of interconnected systems and life's influence on the environment. Another breakthrough comes from the study of forests and their global impact. Recent satellite technology has revealed that rainforests, like the Amazon, produce vast amounts of water vapor, which not only sustains the local ecosystem but also influences rainfall patterns on distant continents. This interconnectedness demonstrates how ecosystems act as integral components of a larger planetary system, supporting the Gaia theory's holistic perspective. Oceans, too, have become a focal point for research validating Gaia. Advances in oceanography have shown that ocean currents, driven by temperature and salinity differences, play a vital role in regulating the planet's climate. Moreover, the discovery of vast underwater carbon stores, such as those found in seagrass meadows, highlights the ocean's ability to buffer against rising atmospheric carbon dioxide levels. These findings underline the interconnected nature of Earth's systems, where life and the physical environment work together to maintain stability. Recent studies on extreme environments, such as hydrothermal vents and polar ice caps, have further expanded our understanding of life's resilience and adaptability. Microbial life in these harsh conditions actively shapes its surroundings, creating ecosystems that challenge traditional definitions of habitability. This supports the idea that life is not just a passive recipient of environmental changes, but an active participant in shaping its environment, another cornerstone of Gaia. While these discoveries validate key aspects of the Gaia theory, they also inspire new questions. How resilient are these feedback systems in the face of human-induced disruptions? Are there tipping points beyond which Gaia's balance cannot be restored? These questions highlight the need for continued research into Earth's interconnected systems. As technology advances and our understanding of the planet deepens, the Gaia theory continues to gain relevance. New discoveries not only provide scientific support for its principles, but also emphasize the urgency of protecting the delicate balance that sustains life on Earth. Section 2. Can Earth be conscious? Philosophical questions. The Gaia theory not only reshapes our understanding of Earth as a self-regulating system, but also raises intriguing philosophical questions. One of the most debated ideas is whether Earth, as a whole, could be considered conscious. While James Lovelock himself did not claim that Gaia is a sentient being, the theory's implications have sparked discussions about the nature of consciousness and our planet's role in the cosmos. To explore this question, it's important to define what we mean by consciousness. Typically, consciousness is associated with individual organisms involving awareness, perception, and decision-making. Earth, as a system, does not fit this traditional definition. However, some philosophers argue that Gaia exhibits a form of distributed intelligence, where the interactions between life and Earth's systems create an emergent, collective behavior. For example, the way ecosystems respond to environmental changes, such as forests regrowing after fires or oceans absorbing carbon dioxide, can resemble problem-solving on a planetary scale. Supporters of this idea suggest that Earth's ability to maintain stable conditions over billions of years could be seen as a form of global homeostasis. While this does not imply intentionality, it raises questions about whether consciousness must be tied to individual organisms or if it can emerge from complex systems. These ideas challenge traditional boundaries between science and philosophy, inviting new ways of thinking about life and its relationship with the environment. Critics, however, caution against anthropomorphizing Earth. They argue that attributing consciousness to Gaia risks undermining the scientific foundation of the theory. Instead, they emphasize that Earth's self-regulating mechanisms are the result of natural processes, shaped by evolution and physics, rather than any form of awareness or purpose. Even if Earth is not conscious in the traditional sense, the philosophical implications of Gaia are profound. The theory encourages us to view the planet as more than just a collection of resources. It suggests that we are part of a larger system, deeply interconnected with the environment and reliant on its stability. This perspective has inspired many to adopt a more holistic and respectful approach to how we treat the planet. Ultimately, the question of Earth's consciousness may not have a definitive answer, whether viewed as a metaphor, a philosophical thought experiment, or a scientific hypothesis. The idea invites us to reflect on our relationship with the planet and our responsibility to preserve its balance. Section 3. The lasting legacy of the Gaia perspective. The Gaia theory has left a lasting legacy that extends far beyond the scientific community. By challenging us to see Earth as a complex, interconnected system, it has transformed the way we think about our planet and our place within it. Decades after its introduction, the theory continues to inspire new research, shape environmental policies, and spark philosophical discussions. One of the most significant impacts of the Gaia theory is its contribution to systems thinking. By highlighting the interconnectedness of Earth's systems, it has encouraged scientists to adopt a more holistic approach to studying the planet. Fields like climate science, ecology, and planetary science have embraced this perspective, leading to breakthroughs in understanding how life and the environment interact. For example, studies on feedback loops and climate regulation have been directly influenced by Gaia's principles. The theory has also played a key role in environmental movements. Its message, that humanity is part of a larger system and dependent on its stability, has resonated with activists, policymakers, and the public. Concepts like sustainability and ecosystem conservation have been shaped by Gaia's emphasis on balance and interdependence. Many environmental initiatives, from reforestation projects to renewable energy policies, reflect the idea of working with nature rather than against it. Beyond science and policy, the Gaia theory has inspired a deeper philosophical and cultural connection to the planet. It has challenged traditional notions of human dominance over nature, promoting instead a sense of partnership and stewardship. This shift in mindset has encouraged people to see the planet not as a resource to exploit, but as a living system to protect. Despite its controversies, the Gaia theory's influence continues to grow. Advances in technology and scientific understanding have provided new evidence supporting its principles, while global challenges like climate change have made its message more urgent than ever. As humanity faces an uncertain future, the Gaia perspective serves as both a warning and a guide, a reminder of the delicate balance that sustains life, and the responsibility we have to preserve it. Ultimately, the Gaia theory's greatest legacy may be its ability to inspire. By reframing Earth as a dynamic, interconnected system, it invites us to rethink our relationship with the planet and envision a future where humanity and nature coexist in harmony. If you found this video helpful or interesting, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.